In part 27, I propose that the mark of the beast in Revelation 13:16 is first explained by the mark that God set on Cain. Just as the two great lights are signs of the glory of the two covenants, old and new, and the rainbow a sign of the covenant God made with Noah, and circumcision a sign of the covenant between God and Abram, so too Cain's mark is a sign of the old covenant law of God that oversees our carnal behavior. As Paul recorded, God's vengeance or wrath is accomplished by his law. As James states, there's only one lawgiver and judge, the one who is able to save and to destroy. But who are you to judge your neighbor? The rule of law exists because our Creator purposed it, and it always regards our behavior. The false prophet of Revelation 13:11 does not give the mark, but does cause all to receive it, where what we buy or sell, or have and do, falls under the divine parameters of his two covenants. When we look just a little deeper at the idea of having and doing, we will realize that it correlates with sowing and reaping. The two covenants are the foundation of our existence, but sowing and reaping are the bedrock on which this foundation rests. Now, here's where things get interesting. Paul says, "Now the law came in to increase the trespass." The King James renders this as, "The law entered that the offense might abound." One might see this as meaning that the law reveals what sin is, since sin is the transgression of the law, but here's something else to think about. The law provokes the thing it condemns. Tell little Jack he can't have a cookie, and little Jack will most likely figure out a way to sneak one anyway, right? The law enters, and so the offense or trespass follows as a result. But Paul doesn't stop there, stating, "But where sin increased, grace abounded all the more." Did God fashion the law to provoke sin in order that he might reveal his abounding grace? I know, sounds a bit crazy, right? But such are the mysteries of his kingdom. Let's return to Revelation 13. "So that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast, or the number of its name. It calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. In the previous study, we considered the idea of the name of the beast, where name denotes inward characteristics such as pride and blasphemy, both which can easily be attributed to the carnal nature and mind. If this perspective is correct, then the number of the beast should agree, and it does. Please consider. Now the works of the flesh are evident, which are adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lewdness, idolatry, sorcery, hatred, contentions, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, dissensions, heresies, envy, murders, drunkenness, revelries, and the like, of which I tell you beforehand, just as I also told you in time past, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God." 3 is the number of a complete witness, while 6 denotes man and his enmity against God. In his book, Biblical Mathematics, Vallow adds that 6 is the manifestation of sin. So, in 3 sixes, we have a complete witness of man and his hostility toward God and others. When we add them together, we have 18. 18 is the number of oppression or bondage. As Galatians shows, Paul listed 18 things regarding the works of the flesh, agreeing with our perspective. Now, consider the following. "But know this, that in the last days perilous times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying its power. And from such people turn away. As noted, Paul lists 18 things here as well. Coincidence? Perhaps, maybe not. And what about the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, totaling 17? When the angel describes these heads and horns to John in Revelation 17, verses 7 through 14, he tells him, "As for the beast that was and is not, it is an 8, but it belongs to the 7, and it goes to destruction." When we add this 8th beast to the 7 heads and 10 horns, we have 18. Another coincidence? And who is this 8th beast? Is it not the collective false prophet, the beast rising out of the earth in Revelation 13:11? It belongs to the 7, so it exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence. It makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose mortal wound was healed. It's easy enough to see that the beast of the sea and the beast of the earth are aligned in their purpose. The works of the flesh in Galatians 5 produce the perilous times in 2 Timothy, both listing 18 in agreement with the oppression and bondage that comes as a result of the mind of the flesh. The number of the beast is the number of a man. What man? Is this an individual yet to arise sometime in the future, as some believe? I don't think so. Paul tells us who this man is. Let no one deceive you by any means. That day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Here, my friend, is the man of Revelation 13:18, the man who generates the works of the flesh and responsible for the perilous times we continue to suffer. In Romans 6:6, Paul calls him the old man that was crucified with Christ, equivalent to the body of sin. Does this not refer to the carnal essence of the first man, Adam, the man of dust? Would this not be the reason Paul said, "For as in Adam, or just like Adam, all die"? No, not physically speaking, but death due to the carnal mind. Where is this man found? In the temple of God, which temple we are. Remember, my friend, when Jesus pronounced the religious system of the Jews as desolate, they didn't stop their religious practices, but went on to oppose and persecute his apostles and the New Testament believers. So when the man of sin sits in this temple as God, he becomes the son of perdition. These are the false apostles Jesus spoke about in his prophetic message to the church in Ephesus. But now you yourselves are to put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy language out of your mouth. Do not lie to one another, since you have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, who is renewed in knowledge according to the image of him who created him. Here again, Paul speaks about the old man with his deeds of anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy language, and lying, clearly agreeing with our list in Galatians 5 and 2 Timothy 3. Now, before I close, one more thought about buy and sell. In all 4 Gospels, there is a story about the Lord entering the temple of God and driving out those who bought and sold in the temple. Bought and sold as in buy and sell? Of course, which makes me think about Paul saying that the love of money is the root of all evil. Think about it. What was being bought and sold in the temple? Sacrificial animals such as oxen and sheep and doves. In other words, religious items for religious purposes. Yet, Jesus denounced it severely, using a whip of cords to drive them out of the temple. Might what Jesus did in the physical reflect what needs to be done in our hearts and minds, since we are now the temple of God? What did Paul follow lovers of themselves with in 2 Timothy 3? Lovers of money. And what did Jesus say? No servant can serve 2 masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. Man of sin. He opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, for that is worshipped. Sounds like pride to me, doesn't it to you? Dear brother and sister, this has been going on for a very long time. No wonder John said, children, it is the last hour. And as you've heard that Antichrist is coming, so now many Antichrists have come. If this was true in John's day, how much more so in ours? That's it for this study, but be sure to join me for the next as we continue to examine Revelation 14. Please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, and thank you for being a part of Grain of Wheat Publishing.